90-Day Fiancé's David Toborowski finally reveals second baby plans with Annie Suwon after shockingly leaving wife in Thailand for new adventure. David Toborowski from 90-Day Fiancé candidly discussed his plans to have another child with Annie Suwon after the birth of their daughter. David and Annie got married in 2017, and 7 years later, they decided to have a baby. They went through IVF procedures, and Annie successfully became pregnant in June 2024. Surprisingly, the couple chose to have their child in Thailand, near Annie's family. 9 months later, they welcomed their first child, daughter Minthaira, in March 2025. However, David recently surprised fans by returning to Arizona in the United States, leaving Annie and their daughter behind in Thailand. Before arriving in Arizona, he flew to Los Angeles to undergo cosmetic procedures to rejuvenate his youthful appearance. While spending time with a friend in Arizona, David recently held a live Instagram session to update fans on his life and the latest cosmetic procedures. When asked if he was having another one, David jokingly asked, "You mean the procedure or another child? Don't scare me with both." He continued to say that they still have 3 embryos on ice but are currently focused on Minthaira. When they first started dating, David and Annie acknowledged their 24-year age difference and weren't insistent on having children together. In various interviews, Annie indicated that she was fine with not becoming a mother, as David had already undergone a vasectomy. She also mentioned that she didn't want her husband, who was aging, to have to change diapers at his age. However, things changed in 2024, and they began talking about having a baby. David didn't have to undergo a vasectomy reversal, and with the help of sperm extraction, Annie was able to get pregnant successfully. David and Annie are thrilled with their decision to have a child. They adore Minthaira, and David misses his daughter during his US trip. However, it is important to recognize that he may feel overwhelmed with his new duties. When asked about their plan to have another baby, he seemed worried about the additional responsibilities. Currently, David and Annie seem satisfied with having a daughter and aren't actively seeking IVF treatment for another child. Given that David is now in his late 50s, he may be content with having only one child with Annie. While David appeared nervous about the possibility of having a second child, he would be willing to overcome his nervousness if Annie expressed a desire to expand their family. With 3 embryos still in storage, it's probable that they may choose to have another child in the future. David and Annie have been in a healthy relationship for 8 years and have shown themselves to be wonderful parents. They're financially secure with investment properties in Thailand and a home in Arizona. Despite the potential concerns about the added responsibilities, the 90-Day Fiancé couple would love to have another child. In a twist that stunned fans around the world, David Toborowski of 90-Day Fiancé fame recently made headlines for 2 shocking announcements. He temporarily left his beloved wife, Annie Suwon, behind in Thailand to embark on a surprising solo adventure, and, more shockingly, he has finally opened up about their long-anticipated second baby plans. It all started with what was meant to be a relaxing trip to Annie's homeland. David and Annie had been spending the better part of the year nestled in the scenic hills of Thailand, immersing themselves in family, culture, and endless bowls of spicy noodles. Fans were treated to frequent glimpses of their adventures on Instagram, Muay Thai, and failing spectacularly, Annie opening a small cooking school, and the couple constantly giggling like newlyweds. Then, without warning, David posted a photo of himself at the Bangkok airport with a cryptic caption. "Sometimes the heart knows when it's time for a new adventure." Stay tuned. The internet exploded with rumors. Was David running away? Was there trouble in paradise? Was Annie pregnant and hiding it? Within days, David resurfaced, not in Kentucky, not in Arizona, not even in the US, but in Tokyo, Japan. Fans were bewildered. David, however, seemed to thrive. Wearing a fedora and grinning from ear to ear, he shared videos of himself sampling sushi, navigating busy streets, and even posing under the blooming cherry blossoms. Annie, meanwhile, remained unbothered. She continued posting cheerful videos from Thailand, showing her cooking classes, shopping trips, and visits with her family. When asked where David was, she simply winked and said, "He's on his mission." Speculation reached a fever pitch, until David finally broke his silence in an exclusive interview with 90 Day Fiancé, Inside Scoop Live. Sitting on a balcony overlooking Mount Fuji, David was relaxed, smiling, and ready to tell his side of the story. First of all, he began, "Annie and I are perfectly fine. More in love than ever, actually. This trip was planned. Annie encouraged it." As it turns out, David's new adventure was part of a self-improvement journey he had secretly been working on for months. "I realized I wanted to become the best version of myself, not just for me, but for Annie and our future family," David said. "We've been talking seriously about expanding our family. We want a second baby." The admission floored the interviewer and fans. David and Annie, who had previously discussed fertility struggles on past seasons of 90 Day Fiancé, What Now?, had never ruled out the possibility of growing their family. Still, after focusing on their businesses and travel, many thought the baby talk had quietly faded. But David revealed it was more serious than anyone realized. "We've been in conversations with fertility specialists. We're exploring all our options, naturally, IVF, even adoption," he said. "This adventure I'm on? It's to get healthy, to lose weight, to clear my mind. I want to be the kind of father who can run after his child in the park. I want to be around for every milestone." He went on to explain that Japan was just the first leg of his journey. Next, he planned to visit South Korea to participate in a wellness retreat, followed by a stop in Australia to meet with a renowned life coach who specializes in helping couples prepare for parenting later in life. Annie, David stressed, was supportive every step of the way. "She's my biggest cheerleader," he said, smiling warmly. "Every night we video chat. She jokes that by the time I'm done, I'll come back looking like a K-pop star." David even hinted that when he returned to Thailand, he and Annie would embark on their baby plans full steam ahead. "We're not putting it off anymore," he said. "We've waited, we've built our lives, we've found stability. Now it's time to complete our family." As for the method they'll choose? David left that open-ended but made it clear that love was at the center of it all. "Whether it's through IVF, adoption, or a miracle, that child will be so loved," he said. Meanwhile, Annie hasn't been sitting still. Sources close to the couple revealed she's been preparing their home for future tiny feet. Annie reportedly renovated a spare bedroom in their Thailand home, painting it in cheerful pastel colors.